you'll all get the recording, and I'm going to use a PowerPoint. I'm going to also send you that PowerPoint as a PDF file as well. Of course, if you want to take notes, of course you can take notes, but I also invite you, like, we're going to do some exercises and some practices together. So I want to invite you to really, just enjoy the practices. Okay. And I'll just introduce my little, she's actually almost full grown. She's so tiny, but this is Nuna. So Nuna's here. Okay, so let's just start. And, you know, I'm sure that people have been, there's a voice I'm familiar with saying the video. Can I just ask everybody to mute yourself?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me? Yeah, no, I just see this pop-up notice. So it's the second notice. There was a notice saying that the meeting will be recorded, but now there's another one saying the content of this meeting is being sent to a third party.
It's being live streamed onto Facebook.
Pardon?
It's being live streamed onto my Facebook group. Yeah.
I see. Well, no, it's the first time I came across that. Okay, sorry. Okay, thanks.
So, okay. So let's just start off, and let's actually do a little standing exercise. It might be similar to things we've done before. Oh, it's lovely to see other people with their pets as well. I love animals. I have 5 dogs. So let's all stand up. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, let's all stand up and put the feet shoulder width apart. And let's start off and just go from left, right. And let's move the pelvis as we're doing this, right? So, and then we're moving the shoulder as well. So we're getting a kind of a movement going in the body. And then putting your feet shoulder width apart, flat on the floor, and slightly unlock your knees. So you want your knees just to be relaxed. Okay. And let's start off and just create a shaking feeling in the legs. Let's start off creating a shaking feeling in the calves and the ankles. Okay, so shaking the calves and ankles, and then moving it up to the knees. So you're shaking your knees. And then coming up, let's shake the thighs and the femur bones. And then bring it up to shake your buttocks. And your coccyx and sacrum. Sacrum is the large bone at the bottom of your spine, and your coccyx is a little finger-shaped bone that points down towards your anus at the bottom of your spine. And those are very, very important bones in Taoism. Okay, and then shake your hips, and then your abdomen, your thorax, lungs, shoulders, arms, neck, head. And then just start to shake and move your whole body. So just letting any kinks that develop during the day to open up and to release. Just allowing your body to move as it wishes to move. And then sitting down, and hopefully you're feeling a little bit more loosened up, right? Because when we're going to work with energy, it's really important actually how we're breathing and how we're moving. The breath is really important because when we want to work with energy, it's really important that we are talking about the autonomic nervous system. We don't want to be in flight or fight. We want to be in relax and enjoy. And the breath is just, I could do a whole class on this. It's so important that we're breathing in a relaxed way into the belly, using the thoracic diaphragm. So I just invite you all to just breathe into your belly and see if you can feel the movement coming from the bottom of your rib cage, which is the thoracic diaphragm, which is actually one of the largest muscles in your body. And what we're going to do today, what I want to invite you to join me for, is we're going to go like looking into a deep dive about what is actually possible with our sexual energy. And this goes way beyond what society tells us. You know, now we're supposedly living in this age of sexual liberation. But if you look at a lot of the things that are supposed to be sexually liberating, it's almost like it's keeping people more enslaved than people can work for. And kindly mute, please, everyone, if you're not muted. You know, because the thing is that what everyone is teaching people to do is to look out for the answer. He's not turning me on enough. You know, whatever, like, I need better porn. I need a bigger sex toy. You know, I need more partners. It's all out there. Whereas when you look at Taoism and Tantra to some extent as well, quite a bit in Tantra, but Tantra, it seems to kind of bypass the experience of the physical dimension, whereas Taoists think we need to be here in the physical dimension, living this to the optimum, you know? So in Taoism and Tantra, we can say we see that sexuality is like a doorway, a gateway that takes us into our bodies and into our consciousness. And that's really what we're going to be exploring today. So let me see if I can find my PowerPoint that I prepared, if I haven't accidentally deleted it, because then I'd be having to do freestyle. But it looks like it's still there. So where are we? Okay, fantastic. I found it. Ooh, deep breath. Okay, let's get started. Anyways, you know what's just been coming up for me in the last few days is just how incredible and amazing life is, you know, and we're told by official society that, you know, we're painted this very, very mundane world where we're all supposed to kind of like be believing in science when science isn't even scientific, you know, and we're supposed to be denying anything that's not explicable according to Greek rational logic. Whereas reality is there's so much more to life than just, you know, what they paint. Even the way we are sold sexual liberation is actually really, really boring. And so many people are getting bored, and then they're hoping, oh, well, if I try another thing, a new thing, a next kink, whatever, am I going to get satisfied? And the thing is, it's only when we actually start going, instead of being, it's like what most people in terms of sexuality, they're like on the surface of this very, very deep lake. And this is all about breaking through into the depths and really starting to experience it all. So activating your sexual power. And I think that last one of these I was talking about intimacy, and I was talking about how this works in a partnership. Today, I really want to look at power, okay? What is our power? Our power as people. And yeah, it's got to do with sex, it's got to do with orgasms, it's got to do with pleasure. Everybody gets so excited about the Taoists talking about multiple orgasms, and then they put that into their own interpretation, which is really, really a misinterpretation. And hopefully I'm going to clarify this, how people have kind of misinterpreted Taoism as if it's some kind of like a masturbation or something like that. And sure, like in Taoism, things like massaging your penis is a very, very important part of it. But what most people think they're doing when they think they're doing Tao practice is actually massaging their penis in ways that is never recommended to do. Is my sound okay? Is there like any annoying background noise or anything? Because I have more than one dog. There's just one here, but I had to put some out of the other room. And I think that my audio setting, I'm not muting out. Yeah, let me mute out the background noise. Is the sound is okay? Okay, any problems, just drop me a comment, guys. Any questions? Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, all right, so activating your sexual power. So sexual energy is a superfood for body and soul, and it's the most powerful spiritual energy. And actually this sexual energy is a superfood for the soul. This is like an old Taoist saying. This is what Mantak Chia says. I'm curious here, who has never heard before sexual energy is a superfood for your soul? If you didn't hear it, can you give me a 3 in the chat? I'm really curious whether people are familiar with this idea about it actually being a superfood for the soul. And the most powerful spiritual energy that we have, maybe more people have heard that as well. But when we say this in Taoism, what we're actually talking about is we're talking about working with what we call Jing, Qi, and Shen in the 3 dantians, and actually transforming these energies and literally taking the energies to put them into the cells in the body. And we have like a couple of main goals. Well, the main goals would be we want to return our cells back to their original programming and just the whole body in general. And we also want to then use that sexual energy to nurture and to actually heal and heal the cells, heal the glands. And what you're actually doing is it's almost like you're healing your body, in your reversing aging. I know that there's someone here that has been my client that had a operation and on the shoulder, and said he was using the practice to actually heal his shoulder and found he was healing much more quickly. And this isn't the only person. I don't even know everybody who's here because there's 33 people here, but it's such a powerful energy. And when you start to use it and see its potential to start healing, it's just incredible. And by the way, if you're watching here live on Facebook, I invite you to come and join us on the Zoom. My assistant, can you just put the Zoom link into the Facebook so that people know that they can come and join here, so they can be a little bit more interactive. So let us continue. I'm going to explain a little bit about my journey in a minute, okay? Because I think someone complained before, they wanted to hear more about my story, and I didn't want to be too much going on and on about myself, but I know it's fascinating and it's interesting. So orgasmic energy is the source energy that creates us. It forms us into physical beings, and it is an essential part of our DNA and our ancestry. So in Taoism, we use this term Jing. Jing, I don't know if you're familiar, Jing, you're going to see this in a moment coming up, but Jing is like the essence that creates us. So it creates humans, it creates animals, it even creates plants as well. And we can say the DNA and even the physical form to some extent is the Jing. Then you have the Qi, which is the physical energy that relates to health. And then you have the Shen, which is more like a spiritual kind of an energy, if that makes sense. And those are kind of like the 3 substances that we work with. So most people are chasing orgasms, and society paints this as perversion. But did you know that orgasmic energy has the power to rejuvenate your body at the cellular level and awaken your consciousness, meaning that chasing orgasms is actually a healthy thing? And I mean, it's an instinct, actually, and instincts are amazing. You know, I mean, my dog here, who's four months old, but her mom is a Jack Russell, right? And when her mom was pregnant, and watching her go through the process of especially giving birth and then nurturing the puppies, and just she knows everything, and it's all coming from her instinct, and it's all coming from hormones. And it's just, it was so incredible to just watch her just turning into this amazing mom just suddenly, when we never kind of imagined it was in her personality, because she's just quite a crazy, wild little dog, you know. And the instincts and the desires, when they are the natural and coming from our natural programming, these are pure. It's only when the instincts and the desires are coming from blocked energy and programming that's artificial and not our programming, that it then becomes like perversion. And that's why you get so many like sex offenders and so on. And actually, when you look, if you look at the classic sex offenders, there's very, very often going to be a history of not love from the mother, and a lot of like sexual repression, and the sexual energy, just they don't even know how to express it, and then it comes out in these crazy ways. So you can see in this diagram here a woman, and we see the jing in the lower part of the body, the qi, they put the qi here, I would put the qi there personally, and the shen is up there, I would put the shen there, and I would put Tao up here. But it's a similar idea, you know. So you can kind of say it also relates to the chakras. It's like similar to chakras, but it's on a different level. And if you're working with chakras, it's pretty important to actually work with Jing, Qi and Shen as well. I think it's a very, very basic level if you want to get into any kind of a spiritual practice or practice with orgasmic energy, is to be working with these substances. So if you get it right, of course, there's plenty of criticism of sexual behaviors that is well warranted. This isn't because sexual energy is innately wrong, it's because it's not flowing correctly through the meridians that is designed to serve. Sexual energy also has the power to amplify anything, and the power of bringing those little aspects that are hiding in the shadows up to the surface. And I suspect that this is why it has the bad rep, because it shows what most people try to hide. And, you know, we could see this very much in, take, for example, Christianity, which was like teaching people to repress themselves, that the body and the flesh is sin, and so on. But even when you look at most neo-spirituality, I call it neo-spirituality, but it's very much based on these same Christian ideologies, and it's very much centered around spiritual bypassing, you know, even when they think they're not. It is, you know, I just noticed in so much spiritual communities, there's a kind of like people, they're more in an ego, and by ego I mean they're just trying to be this really, really good, perfect person. But reality is nobody's a really good, perfect person. Of course, we can try to be the best version of ourselves, but we all have weird aspects. We're all quirky, you know, we all have oddities and so on. And that's really, really fine, the way that we are, the way that we authentically are. You know, if I try to be whoever the next person, you know, I'm just going to be a crappy version of whoever I'm trying to be. Whereas when I try to actually really authentically, truly, not try to be one, but when I just sink into what I actually am, this is me becoming, you know, the best, and I think the nicest person for other people to be around as well. And, you know, there's so much in spiritual scene about, oh, anger is bad. You need to be this peaceful person. You need to be this, you need to be that. I mean, I work a lot with getting people to integrate anger and get in a really good relationship with anger. When people do that, I notice they become much, much calmer because they stop battling aspects of themselves. And there was even a lady I spoke to after one of these events, because I will offer for everybody here to have a 10-minute consultation. And she came on a 10-minute consultation, and she has a business, but she just hadn't been, she'd felt really, really stuck in her business, and she wasn't kind of getting to where she wanted to go. And we just talked for a few minutes, and then we realized that there was actually underlying a lot of repression of anger. And I gave her some exercises to just get in touch with her anger. And I noticed her social media just becoming like much more directed, much more confident, much more beautiful, like the message much clearer, you know. And I was like, oh, you know, a couple of days ago, I just messaged her and I was like, oh, I'm loving your post, you're looking really good. And she's like, oh my God, I feel so different now. I got in a relationship now with this part, and I knew I needed to. on a deep level, but it was like I was always feeling like to be a good person, I had to repress my anger. And so many people, that's just one example of an emotion where we repress. And of course, I'm not saying go out and start screaming at everybody or smash up the banks or whatever you want to do. That's not what getting in touch with the anger is about, because it's very much the same as sexuality. When someone says, okay, who do I need to get angry at? It's not about getting angry at someone. It's about feeling the energy. And when we feel that energy, what we actually do is we increase the capacity of our body to hold energy. And that's very, very important for our health, to have more energy and increase energy, I think, for obvious reasons. So I'm just checking here if I've got... Oh. Okay, is everyone hearing me okay?
There's some noise every so now and then, like someone banging something. And in the list, there's a couple of people that don't show camera. There's only microphone they switched on. Maybe you can, yeah.
Let's just make sure. What I can do is I can look at the list and just mute everybody who's not muted. Okay. Yeah, and hopefully this will be better. Okay. Yeah, I had my dog trying to knock on the door and get in the room. Sorry about that noise. I think she stopped now. Yeah. It was banging on the door, but now it's gone quiet. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, she's gone quiet now, hopefully. So let's yeah, let's get back to where we were before. Do you know what? Let me put them in the kitchen because now she's barking. Sorry about this. Come here. Come on. Okay, all right. Hopefully that's going to be better now. So, okay. Taoism and multiple orgasms. Sorry, was there another message? Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay. Taoism and multiple orgasms. So people get all excited when they hear Taoists talking about multiple orgasms, and this is no surprise. People want to experience this. It's literally programmed into our DNA to do this. And I'm talking about our original programming, because on a health and a soul level, we know we need this energy. And it's actually, when people are like, you know, interested in sexuality and interested in multiple orgasms, this is actually a deep calling from within people's souls. That said, most people interpret Taoism in the mindset of Western sexual repression, the worst of the perpetrators of these being the so-called sexually liberated advocates of sex toys and porn. I'm going to add to that kink and polyamory as well, who steer the masses away from the purpose of their sexual energy. I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but this is all about looking out for the answers when the answers are within us. Taoism isn't a technique to mess around with. It's a way of life and working with energy. And if you don't do it properly, it's better not to do it. Is this for everyone? And short answer is no, it's not. Long answer is that this is the most high-level understanding of sexuality. And although it's simple to work with, once you mastered the science, it does take a shift of perspective away from how society looks at bodies, emotions, and sexuality. This is a practice that is extremely powerful, but it requires awareness and discipline to implement it into your life. It also requires that you take responsibility for your own development and step into your power. You need to, as well, to be determined about the results that you want. I have found that these exercises combined with a strong mindset are the best way to get your results. So actually, when I started doing these exercises, I had there were two things going on in my life, right? You know, and I'd had all these different physical ailments, and I was really suffering. And I think people would have looked at me from the outside and thought everything was fine, but on the inside, like, it really, really wasn't. And I was really struggling, and I was really fighting and trying to heal myself. And I was trying so many different therapies and so many different techniques. It was like I'd address one thing and then another thing would come up. And actually what I was doing was I was chasing the symptoms around my body instead of addressing the root cause. And it just almost got to the point where I'd had enough, right? And I had just years of chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd been diagnosed and basically told I was incurable. I was addicted to using cannabis to get to sleep. I couldn't sleep naturally. I was so wired, I suppose is the right word. I was using cannabis to sleep. I had like a lot of anxiety around not having cannabis as well. And essentially, I was sick of smoking cannabis. I tried to talk to my doctor about it. The doctor was like, well, a lot of people smoke cannabis, you know, you're not even smoking that much. But to me, it just completely didn't feel right. Plus, I basically had never had an orgasm, or maybe I'd had like one or two, but pretty much I never was having orgasms. Those two things, I just was so sick of, you know, and I tried many things. Like I said, I tried many things to resolve this. I was just so sick of experiencing it. And then I went and I discovered this, and really I think I just put it out to the divine. So really I shouldn't be resentful to the divine at all, but I put it out, you know, I want a cure, I want something, you know, I can't live like this. And I discovered Taoism, I discovered Mantak Chia. I started to go and find some teachers. I went to start going to these workshops with and I started to learn the exercises, and I started to do them religiously. And I think one of the first things was, you know, and I'd battled this cannabis for quite a few years. I think over 10 years I've been battling smoking cannabis, sometimes giving it up, all the time thinking about it, the way you associate a heroin addict. And some people would say, oh, you know, you just don't have strong enough willpower, but it was nothing to do with not strong enough willpower, because I have very strong willpower. It was an energy block, basically. And the energy block was like, you know, the main way of seeing it was through these sexual symptoms. And when we have energy blocks, they always come out with our sexuality, you know. So people often think, oh, well, you know, I have all these other problems. I'm not going to address my premature ejaculation. I'm not going to address my anorgasmia. The thing is that, you know, in terms of like, whatever these problems is, even like addiction to porn, for example, as well, this is just a sign of a very, very deep energy block that was just strangling my life force, you know. So I lost all interest in cannabis within a couple of weeks, which was just amazing. It was just a huge miracle, thank goodness, being freed of just being addicted to something like that. And then within a few months, you know, and I just was like, I want to have just, you know, one orgasm or something like that, you know. And within a few months I was just having multiple orgasms, full body orgasms. I'd never imagined where it would even be taking me. But I think the fact that I was very fixed on what I wanted, and then I used the exercises, it was like I set the intention and it was given to me. I got it. And that was, you know, I've actually found I was getting more high from doing the exercises, but in a good way, than I've been getting from smoking weed, although it was hard to convince people of that at first. But then when they saw me changing, they were more believing what I was telling them, interestingly enough. Oops. So, okay, about Taoism. Many people mistake Taoism for some masturbation technique, or think it's about squeezing your perineum a lot. So people read these books like The Multi-Orgasmic Man or whatever, you know, and it's an interesting book, but it's just not designed for anybody to learn the practice out of that book at all, you know. And a lot of people, lot of people have done those practices out of books or off YouTube videos, and they've hurt themselves. Why? Because we need to do like certain exercises in certain order, and we need to get the order right. if we're missing out on some stages and then we just go in and we start masturbating and trying to squeeze the perineum, it's really like can cause like long-term damage to your prostate. It can cause premature ejaculation. If the semen is going into your bladder, this can cause health problems as well. But what's really, really important is first to unblock the body. And in a minute, let's go and start looking at how we can actually even start today to unblock our bodies. So it's super misunderstood in the West, and unfortunately books have been taken out of context as they never were learning aids for beginners. It's a sad fact that people without a Taoist lineage are taking practices they aren't able to teach because they don't embody the energy they are attempting to transmit. And yeah, going through teaching certification is tough, and we really need to know how to work with energy to be approved, because these energies are so powerful. They can cause harm as well as heal. And there's actually something that when we're going through instructor training practice, we actually get made to do this. Does anyone here do Qigong, by the way? If you do Qigong, can you give me like a 2 in the comments? I want to just show you, just to give you like example about actually what's required of us when we're doing instructor training, because the energy is so powerful. They want to know that we actually can stand in this certain Qigong position. And so if you do Qigong, you're going to know what I'm showing here. Okay, we got to stand in this certain Qigong position, and this massive Belgian guy who like seems a little bit mean, and he's about twice my size, and he comes and he just pushes us really, really hard, right? I'm guessing you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Why? Yeah, because they want to test that you're able to like hold the energy. And I wanted my partner to be here because he's a big athlete guy, and I wanted him to push me live so you guys could all watch. It was when we first met, he was just amazed, like, how could I beat him at arm wrestle? Yeah, how could I, he could push me and I wouldn't move, right? But now I taught him, and now he can beat me at the arm wrestle. Anyways, I just want to give you like a quick show here. So hi, I'm Jade here demonstrating a bit of Iron Shirt Qigong. So I was just in Hampstead Heath and I saw this guy and I said, hey, I want to have a video. The tendon locking position and how the strength of Qi allows me to stand very strong in this position even while he's pushing. Yeah, so I had just asked this guy, don't worry too much about what I'm saying in the background. So the guy comes along and he starts pushing me. And I'm telling him, push harder. And he's pushing me as hard as I can, and he's just so confused to my side about why. His push was just going down my left leg and into the ground. About why, but what you're essentially doing is you're actually channeling the energy from this person pushing you down into the ground. And at that point now, actually, when I made that video, which was about 7 years ago, I was not, now I have much more developed muscle actually than I used to. So now he is here pushing from the front, and the power position. Let's see at the end. Okay. Try one more thing, just... Next time I'll hopefully have my partner, but he's doing a training and get him to show how this all works. So you can see this is something where they really want us, and this is not about how much muscle that you have. Oh, and the dog is overlooking. Okay. Whenever you're doing Qigong, it seems like the dogs come along and they love to participate. So okay, here's my PowerPoint. So basically we have to survive that push and not fall over. and it's quite tough. In fact, I wasn't getting it right, and then Master Chia came and he somehow touched my sacrum and my coccyx, just and then I could do it afterwards. It was like he gave me this chi transmission. It was quite amazing, actually. So moving on, anyways, back to where we were. So many people dismiss them and they say many people dismiss the exercises because they tried to learn them from a book and either nothing happened or some people got problems. You can see there's whole forums where there's like hundreds of people saying, oh, Mantak Chia is such a bad guy. He teaches this exercise and I messed him up and it messed me up. But the thing is, it does actually say in all those books, find a certified teacher, but people aren't finding teachers. They're just doing the exercises. And often nothing will happen, but sometimes you can have, like, men often get problems with their lower back and prostates or premature ejaculation, whereas women, there's often, like, people can have like mental illness, end up on antidepressants, even with psychosis from circulating sexual energy and not doing it in the right way. So it's like super powerful stuff. And even there's a few times I've had experiences and unblockings where it's really like been intense. There was one time I was like 2 weeks almost like wiped out after having this big energy awakening, and it was really lucky I knew how to bring the energy back down, but it did take me like 2 weeks to settle everything down. So it's very, very important to just be working with the energy just in a slow and a gradual step-by-step way, so that when you start activating it, it doesn't just fly out of control. So yeah, and also sometimes people will do it and they'll be like, oh, they're getting like a little bit of an effect, but it's nothing like the effect you'd get if you're doing all the exercises properly together. So these were closely guarded secrets for centuries. I mean, the Chinese had this thing. They did not want Westerners having their secret. I think they had these boats, these really amazing boats. And I think if you gave the secret of how to make the boat to a Westerner, the sentence was death. So they did want to keep these secrets from Westerners. But I think that part of this is that it's easy to kind of take these things and misinterpret them and hurt yourself with them. You know, so it's, Master Chia is criticized for making this so public, but at the same time, I do believe that the benefits of these teachings being revealed outweigh the harm. So actually, like only a few decades ago, to just learn like three days of this, 2 or 3 days of this, was like 10,000. Like in the 70s, I think it was like you'd have to pay $10,000, which was a lot of money. In the 70s, that was probably equivalent to like $50,000 today or something like that, or even more. So now this stuff has come like much more mainstream and out into the public, but still is something that, you know, depending on obviously like how far you want to take it, it's a really, it's something that you do need to treat with a lot of respect. And I think that we Westerners, we can have this very arrogant mentality about things. You know, in the past, people always got a teacher, they learned with the teacher. You know, I mean, Taoism, Mantak Chia, he does say Taoism has no place for guru worship, but we do give the respect, you know, to the teacher, but it's not about guru worship. And I do think, yes, I agree with that. Guru worship is not really that much of a helpful thing, but you know, just respecting, I think respecting the lineage, respecting the teachers, respecting the tradition, the fact these traditions, you know, if you look at Tantra, it's, I think, something that's been very, very disrespected by Western people, and the results of it are really, it's really, really bad, to be honest. It's having like a lot of negative effects on people when actually it should be like a really beautiful, positive thing. So I think with all of this, whenever we're going to learn anything from another part of the world, you know, shamanism or whatever you want to call it, it's so important to respect the lineage and where it comes from. And by that, I think I'm saying, like, not to just interpret it with the Western mindset and be aware, what is the Western way of looking at things? Now, I didn't know about that until I did a degree in Chinese medicine. And then I realized that the Chinese and pretty much everyone in the world, except for us, realizes one thing can be right, another thing can be right, another thing can be right, another thing can be right. Whereas we Westerners, we're like, oh, that's right, therefore that's wrong. That logic doesn't exist in any other part of the world. So it's like Greek logic that we have, but it's not in, you know, it's not actually in most people's cultures. So why do people obsess about sex? I think I slightly covered this already, but let's just have another look. So conventionally, people think that sexual desires are low vibe feelings that detract away from your progress. I remember one of my first coaching clients when he came back for his second session, and I'm like, oh, how are you doing? And he goes, oh, I'm amazing, Jade. You've completely changed my life. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I managed to do that so quickly? And he goes, you made me realize my sexuality was not a shameful thing. I've been trying to repress it for 10 years, trying to be spiritual, but actually I've just in this last week come into a good relationship with it, and now I just realized that was what was missing, that I actually needed a good relationship with my sexual energy, not that I needed to repress it. And yeah, this thing about repressing sexual energy, I don't go into it too much here, but it is what most people do to a greater or lesser extent. And basically, it's very, very harmful. And when people talk about the nice guy, and obviously, look, we women, we want nice guys. It's absolutely rubbish that we're looking for bad boys and so on. But we want a guy who's in touch with his sexual energy, because if he's just repressing his sexual energy and he's not in touch with it, what on earth is there for us to feel attracted to? What's going to create the magnetism? What's going to create the polarity? There's nothing there. There's nothing to arouse the woman. So that's why, you know, it's so important to have the relationship with your sexual energy. And the better you create that relationship, the I would say the more sophisticated and the more powerful you are in every aspect of your life. So it really all depends. Oh, sorry, misstep belling. It really all depends on how you're experiencing them, and more to the point, if the energy is traveling correctly through the channels. If the energy is stuck, it can definitely turn into a low vibe experience, and for those trying to walk the higher path, it's easy to get stuck in a cycle of repression, frustration, and shame, which is a huge energy drain. And it really surprised me when I found out like how many guys doing yoga and meditation are struggling with porn addiction, or maybe like in relationships where things aren't going right, where maybe there's like a kind of a problem with the intimacy, you know, on the spiritual level or on the physical level or whatever. This is actually like a really, really common thing that so many people experience, but just because sex is supposed to be taboo to talk about or whatever, people just don't talk about it. But obviously, like, it's a huge energy drain if you're fighting to repress your sexual energy, you're feeling frustration, you're feeling shame. This is something that will really like take away your time and energy and stop you from focusing onto what is really your path and your destiny and your purpose. So sexual energy will not go away, but you can learn how to use it, not just to heal your body at the cellular level, but to activate your creativity, your consciousness, and your spirituality too. And Master Chia tells this story that it's like, you know, you might have a neighbor, and maybe your neighbor's a bit of a bad boy, but like you're better off making friends in a good relationship with your bad boy neighbor than giving them hatred. I mean, some people do this, right? They create hatred with their neighbor, but usually that's someone that's not a bad boy, someone they think they can walk all over. But you know, you're better off being friends and buddies with the gangster than, you know, having them, you know, not be buddies with you, right? This is just basic survival, I suppose, you know. So, okay, who am I? My name is Jade Lotus, and I studied and practiced Taoist alchemy for over a decade. And through this practice, I managed to blow the lid off of my anorgasmia and simultaneously cure chronic health problems, addictions, and start manifesting creativity and abundance. And what I will just add there is it really like put me on the path to my destiny. So I studied with the Taoist Grandmaster Mantak Chia, and I learned to practice and teach the ancient Taoist arts of energy cultivation and transmutation. I also, if any of you know Barry Spendlove or even like Lee Blythe, these are other people I trained with as well. And I'm also a certified Tantra educator and have helped thousands of people to get in touch with their sexuality. That's as paying clients. Probably if you look at people that have seen my social media, I think is I can't count, but it's amazing because sometimes I'll just get a message from someone going, oh, your content changed my life. I had my first like G-spot orgasm after reading one of your blogs and like following the instructions there. And it's amazing, like, you know, to be, what I feel I'm doing is actually putting people into this real relationship with their sexuality, where they really can experience their body as what they are and how they are. So, oh yeah, me and Master Chia, this was before the lockdown. Okay, and I know I mentioned this before, but I just put a disclaimer here. These are powerful energies that we're working with. They need to be respected. And I'm just going to say there's nothing I'm teaching you here that is going to be harmful to you in any way. However, if you do any of these practices, go off, feel unwell, do please get in touch with me straight away, let me know. But I can say I'm certain that's not going to happen. But if it does happen, obviously tell me, just so I know. Okay, but we're going to work with sexual energy, but we're going to work with it as a spiritual energy, and we're going to work with some other energies as well. But it's a safe practice. Okay, so it's just saying here, respect the energy, and they're taught in a specific way, in a specific order. And that just what this is saying here is that this is all based on the work that I do with my clients. So if you want to know more about this, you can apply for a consultation. I'm also offering like a free 10-minute consultation to anyone that's here or watching on the replay. This is just to go over and just see if you have any blockages, what they are, and how you might start addressing them. It's not a sales call. There's nothing on offer for you to even buy on that call. If you want, you would have to arrange another call to do that. But hopefully my assistant here can put in the chat the link to book that call. Okay. And yeah, just the last paragraph there, the benefits of embarking on this path are often felt in weeks of starting, and it includes healing from debilitating mental conditions, and the impact is also felt on the physical and the sexual health. Because this work is holistic, its powerful effects are felt through every layer of life. For example, CEOs that I work with literally find benefits to their whole company within weeks of starting. And yeah. Okay, and then this is just a couple of from people I've worked with, just showing how powerful the practices are. So one guy, after years of repressing my feelings and venting them with massive effort, I finally was able to cry after 3 years. I always searched on the internet about emotions and how to release them, but I was never able to do so even with long exercises. And I'm just going to say working with emotions is really fun, and we're going to do it today, and it's so fun. You're going to see it. Okay. But most people think it's dire and dreary and awful and like psychology and everything. And so they try to basically avoid working with emotions, which is really, really important. So this week totally changed my life. I'm just in week 2 of your coaching package. Finally, I have no sexual pressure anymore, and I can accept the feelings of sexual energy, so I don't have to ejaculate or watch porn to slow me down. Now I can use this energy to go forward in life without being a victim of my own craving. And it's really interesting. I don't say to people to give up porn, but I find like within 2 to 4 weeks, people are usually like, oh, I'm just not craving this release anymore, because the body got unblocked enough that they can actually start having this sexual energy come into the body instead of just needing to just constantly be eliminating it out of the body all the time. And this was another guy who was in a relationship. So his relationship was falling apart, and it all just came back together when he learned to get in touch with his anger. So 5 weeks into my course, the transformation is already beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. Before starting, I knew I needed something fully embodied, based in reality, not bypassing sexual energy, and true to my own experience. I had no idea this actually existed until I experienced it. This is the change all of us are seeking and needing if we truly want to be free and live this life as true expressions of who we really are. And the sex, he's kind of saying this. So what he told me was he had more sex in 2 weeks than he had in the last 2 years, and that his relationship, which was about to break down, had basically all been sorted out when he got in touch with his anger. Okay, maybe there's a bit more to it, but that was the major thing, and it's interesting to notice that, right? So sexual energy amplifies everything. This is an incredible gift, but for those who are unable to handle the energies, it can be catastrophic to raise the energy. That's why in Dosm we take a step-by-step approach to learning to work with sexual energy, so that we master each step at a time and don't leave it to chance. Okay, a healthy relationship with your emotions is essential, and this is because something many people try to avoid going deep into, because people just don't know how to do it, and they don't know that it can actually be really fun and enjoyable. Because it's usually not explained well as well, but it's actually something that is not just fun, and it can be rapidly effective as well. So let's have a look at emotional alchemy. So this is Taoist inner emotional alchemy. I know other people use the term emotional alchemy, but we're looking at Taoist inner emotional alchemy here, and it's key to releasing the energy blocks that get in the way of successful practice of sexual transmutation. This is something we will start with today, and I recommend to do this for the rest of your life. So the exercise we're going to do today, take it home, do it every day, do it forever. Start to put it into your life, you know, and you will find it's life-changing. Yeah, even if it's the only Taoism that you ever do. And this literal exercise has literally like cured people of like cancer. I'm not joking, you know, it's so powerful. It's so transformative. So hopefully you're going to start smiling to your organs, which is what we're going to do. So Taoism works by developing the skills to harness energy. And this means cultivating, moving, transmuting, refining, and storing energy. My dog is still banging on the door. 1 second. Sorry about that. I should have given her some of the CBD oil that's sitting here on the table before this. Okay. All right. So Taoism works by developing the skills to harness energy. And this means cultivating, moving, transmuting, refining, and storing energy. And of course, it's really important to be able to tell different types of energy from each other as well. So this is something we're going to start today. And as long as you follow the scientific approach, it will work well. Chinese science is so powerful. It's used today all over the world, obviously, as acupuncture. And it's something you can harness and bring into your life to affect incredible changes. And what we're working with is actually very, very similar to what acupuncturists work with as well. So, just trying to see that question. Okay. Yeah, someone said they used to do the Qigong exercise that we just saw there. So yeah, emotions are movements of energy up, down, forward, and to the center. Let's give an example of this. Okay, anger is a rising energy. Sadness is a falling energy. We want like a similar amount of these to balance each other out. And these actually give us like important gifts and virtues like creativity and also even like spirituality as well. When a lot of anger is repressed, what tends to happen is then you have all this sadness, and this sadness energy is just pulling you down, and you can get really depressed and down and sad and fearful and everything. So it's actually important to have a healthy rising up of energy that's balanced with the coming down of the sadness. That's just an example. So negative and positive need to be balanced as energies in your body as well. So for example, we balance anger with kindness and sadness with courage. So the most effective way to do this is to actually hack into the energies and keep them balanced as a daily practice. Emotions exist both in the organs and the sexual organs. And sexual reflexology is the second step that you can use with yourself and a partner as deep layers of healing with pleasure. So I'm guessing a lot of you have seen this diagram before, and you're familiar with this idea that we have the 5 elements, and that within each of these elements is relates to an organ. Okay, you see 2 organs there. We're just worrying about the first organ. Okay, so I invite you to screenshot this if you want. Okay, keep it on your phone or device. And if you enjoy your day today, I invite you to stick this in your story and on Instagram or on Facebook and tag us in on it. And if you do that, I will send you a free, I will send you for free a masterclass that normally people pay £72 for. That is basically teaches you like about the science and the different nerves involved in different kinds of orgasms that you can have. Yeah, so it's like super interesting, explaining about the pudendal nerve and the and actually the vagus nerve as well, and the role that these play in orgasm. So it's a masterclass I did a few years ago, or at least a year and a half ago, maybe I could say. So here we go. We have the fire element and the heart, the earth element and the spleen, the metal element and the lungs, the water element and the kidneys, the wood element and the liver. So does everybody know where is your liver? Where is your kidneys? Where is your spleen? Anybody not know? Should we go over? Okay. The left side at the bottom of the rib cage, your spleen, is like a small gland in there. And the right side, the liver is huge and is on the right side. And the kidneys are at the back, just where you're at the lower edge of your rib cage. Obviously, we know the heart, we can just say it's in the center there, and the lungs are here. And when we go on and we look at this next diagram, we can actually see, and I invite you to screenshot this as well, because these two diagrams are what you need to keep doing this exercise at home. So look at these emotions. So each of these organs actually has these positive emotions. There's also negative emotions, which will come in this next picture. But for now, we're just going to work with the positive emotions. Now, what we want to do is each organ, it has negative and positive emotions, but because we're taught to repress our negative emotions, what happens is we get all this blocked energy actually within our organs that's actually stopping the organs from even like energetically working properly. So that's like one way in which like trauma and blocked energies and repressed emotions can actually make us sick. So what we want to do is we want to cultivate energy, and that's what we're going to just learn to do right now. Is we're going to learn to cultivate energy, and we're going to learn to unblock our organs. Okay, and so that's, you can see how this can have such a powerful effect on the body. So that's what I want to invite you to do. Now, how does it work? It's very, very simple, because wherever your attention goes, the energy flows. Okay, and we're going to send the energy within ourselves, inside and into our bodies. And the way we're going to do this, so if you just try to sit and put your feet shoulder width apart, but if you're lying, it's fine as well. Let's just move the back and the body just a little bit. Whew. And then coming down into a sitting position, shutting your eyes and breathing in and out. Feeling your belly rising and falling as you're breathing. And now bringing your attention to your eyelids. So you can notice your eyelids are shut, but still your eyes can see. And what you're going to do is you're going to direct your intention and attention, and you're going to turn and look backwards, and you're going to look into your brain. So now visualize you're looking into your brain. And you only need to visualize to actualize. So you're looking into your brain. You're looking down your throat. You're looking into your chest. And then in your chest, you're finding the place where you feel that your heart is. And you're connecting to your heart. And nobody likes being stared at, so we're going to smile to our heart. You can smile as if you're just bumping into an old, long-lost friend. You're smiling. And as you smile into your heart, you can connect with the element of fire. The color red. And the feelings of love, joy, happiness, and patience, which you can actually feel as a red light within your heart. So as you're smiling into your heart, feel that the red energy is growing. Feel it's filling your heart, opening your heart, relaxing your heart, and nurturing your heart. And now move your attention to your left side at the bottom of your rib cage and connect there with your spleen. And you can smile to your spleen and connect with the element of earth. And as you smile to your spleen, you can feel the color yellow and the feelings of trust, openness, and fairness, which are like a yellow light in your left side. So as you smile there, feel the yellow energy growing in your spleen. And then move your attention up to your lungs and smile to your lungs as you connect with your lungs and with the element of metal. And in your lungs, you can feel the white color. And the feelings of courage, sincerity, appreciation, and integrity, which you can feel as white energy as you're smiling into your lungs. And now move your attention to your lower back, and you can smile to your kidneys and connect with the element of water. And as you're smiling to your kidneys, you can feel that the blue energy is growing. And you can feel the feelings of peacefulness, calmness, stillness, and tranquility are growing in your lower back. And that these are like a blue energy, a blue peaceful energy which fills your lower back and your pelvis. And now bringing your attention to your right side, and you can smile to your liver and connect with the element of wood and the color green. And as you're smiling into your liver, you can feel the green energy and the feelings of kindness, forgiveness, gratitude, and benevolence, like a green color, which is in your liver. And then coming back to smile to your heart. And you can feel how you've gone around collecting the red, yellow, white, blue, and green energies. And you're bringing them back to place them in your heart. And you can feel them traveling through your whole body, vibrating your cells, and then spiraling out around you, healing and strengthening your aura. And then coming back to your heart, smiling for a last time to your heart. Place your hands over your belly button, your navel, and make some circles with your hands over your belly button so we can ground the energy with these circles. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. So, how was this? Does anyone have any questions? Anything they want to say about it? This is a very, very simple, very, very basic Taoist exercise, but even though it's simple and basic, it's still really powerful. So I definitely recommend to practice this. And it's lovely to do this in a group. It's really, really nice. I was just, before starting this, I was in another group where I'm studying this course again just to keep up to date with it. And it was really nice to do it together with the group. And for people here who want to know more, like I have a short course which has what I call the emotional alchemy, inner emotional alchemy, the lessons for that. If you're interested to know about it, I also have like at the moment, I have like a 45% discount on it actually. So if you want to know about it, just let me know. And what we'll do is we can have a quick chat and I will just give you my WhatsApp there if you're interested in it. So we can have a quick chat to check if it will work for you, but I guess if you've enjoyed this, it probably likely will. So that's just my WhatsApp. So if you need to contact me, don't worry, it's my work one, not my personal one, about you want to know anything, you want to know about doing this course, or if you've posted if you've posted this on your story and you want to claim your free workshop, just let me know. Okay. So just for interest's sake, this here is the cycle of the negative emotions. So feel free to screenshot this as well. We're not going to do anything with the negative emotions right now, but take that picture as well. So you can have these 3 pictures. And this is really like the basis of very much Taoist inner alchemy. And because we see how it works, so simple, the different elements controlling each other and feeding each other, is very, very quickly to quickly go into deep emotional blockages and just eliminate them. I don't know if you guys have watched any of my testimonials, but I've had people with like really chronic anxiety and so on go and properly start doing the exercises in like 4 weeks, just find it's almost completely gone, or 80 or 90% gone, and their life is really, really transformed from it. So these are amazing, amazing practices. I absolutely love them. And then the really, really cool thing is it all lines up with your genitals, right? As well. So you can see here, feel more than free to screenshot this too. This all lines up with zones inside of our genitals as well. It's just amazing. So let's just look at like what are symptoms of energy blocks, because sometimes people ask this. So it could be premature ejaculation, impotence, anorgasmic, sexual dysfunction, anything not feeling right to do with having sex, to do with intimacy actually as well. So blockage in the chain of intimacy, sexual problems and dis-ease, including swelling and pain, cancers, lymphatic problems, getting bored of sex, being overly obsessed with sex or disinterested in sex, overly attached to fantasy or porn. It's like we can't be in the body and be with ourselves. Fear and anxiety around sex and intimacy, and they all have a common cause essentially. So I just want to like as well go into this just for a moment, tension versus relaxation orgasm. So that's the masterclass that I was offering for anyone who puts in their story about the event. Obviously, like, it helps me promote what I'm doing, and unfortunately, like, I'm super shadow banned at the moment. It's really annoying. I'm gonna have to find a way to figure out to get around it, but this is life. I was just saying to someone earlier, I feel like so much is going on within people that people are just waking up to all this stuff anyways, you know, even if what's his name is Zuckerberg is trying to silence this message, it's still coming out. So if you ever heard of like long tantric nights of endless lovemaking and multiple orgasms and wondered how, that is probably because you have accepted the Western sexual norm of tension release orgasms as an orgasm. Tension orgasms, the type of orgasm that is popular in Hollywood and porn, are an orgasm that occurs in very external and lower genitals. It's almost like a sneeze. They're activated by the pudendal nerve and tension, which means they push orgasmic energy out of your body, and that is why you only get one. Relaxation orgasms are when the waves of energy travel up your body and into your meridians and cells. And this is what tantric sex is all about, is what Taoist sex is all about as well. And usually it takes like a shift in consciousness for this to start happening. It's about healing blockages, releasing blockages, you know. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people trying to have multiple orgasms through this squeezing of perineum and so on. But really, like, this is all about having a shift in consciousness. And it's interesting because long ago, I had a Tantra teacher who said, you know, Kundalini awakening will naturally happen as part of living a virtuous life. And I think that what he was talking about was when we have that shift of consciousness, the energy naturally moves as well. So, you know, it's not just a physical thing, it's about the whole body. So I'm gonna go bring my other puppy in here because she's still banging on like another door. Let's see what she does. Right. Siska. Good girl with me. Okay. So this is the cause of all the trouble. She looks very cute, and hopefully she's going to behave now in here as well. Okay, anyways, don't worry about this. You can just get because I have like still quite a few slides to do. We can you can get the masterclass from me as well. Okay, so let's look at like what's really the basics here. And you saw this picture before, that your body is an alchemical chamber, and that we have these three energy centers. We have them in the belly, we have them in the heart, and we have them in the third eye, or what we call in Taoism the crystal palace. And then we have these energy meridians that move around in circles, and it moves up and it moves down as well. And down is really, really important. It's almost, well, it's definitely as important as up. We can say it's even more. And that's how this all works. So if we understand the fact that according to Taoism, we are here in the physical dimension with these bodies, and what our purpose here is to actually perfect the functioning of this alchemical system of energy moving through the meridians and the transformation centers working. And when this within is all in balance, the external world comes into balance as well. And it's amazing like how it works, you know, like that I've worked with people that just there's been like, say, a couple about to break up, and maybe they've been together for a year, so it would be terrible if they broke up, you know. And I've worked with just one of them, and just with working with the one of them, he doesn't even need to tell the partner, and literally like through his energy shifting, the whole relationship like fixes itself, you know, which is really amazing. Because when you look at couple therapy, usually one person is less eager, and the thing is, whatever was the problem with the couple in the first place, it's probably going to just play out in the couple therapy if you try to force a fix. Whereas with this, it just all happens like very, very naturally as well. So the three dantian, so in nature, the energies of the body flow and transform in harmony. So starting in the huiyin, which is the perineum, the energies, which is Jing, rise up into the belly or the lower dantian and transform there into Qi. And this is the process through which sexual pressure becomes life force. So it's taking that pressure, it's taking that frustration, it's moving it up into the belly, and it's then manifesting and turning into and becoming vitality energy. And this is the first step of sexual transmutation, is to just take that pressure off and turn it into feelings of vitality. From there, the energy rises into the heart, where it transforms into Shen. And this is like the feeling of love. And this is the basis of healthy sexuality in essence. And this is when this energy center is activating, this is when people are getting like the energy orgasms and the orgasms in the body and so on. So from the heart, the energy then rises into the center of the brain, which is called the crystal palace, and it becomes consciousness energy, activating you to your creativity, your destiny, and your higher purpose. So this all works great in theory, but in reality, the process of civilization causes emotional blockages and programming, which stops the flow of this energy. This may be fear, or it may be distrust of love and intimacy, or shame around sexuality. To a skilled practitioner, it can be obvious where these blockages show up in the body. For example, fear of love manifests below the heart, and shame and around the pubic bone. So say like by the time you have a certain amount of experience, obviously you work with yourself, everyone's different, but when you've worked with a certain amount of people, it's quite easy to kind of see what's going on with them energetically. And I don't like to just say to someone, oh, you have this block. So I ask people permission if they want to know from me. But it's quite interesting because I can usually even say, just turn the anger up by like 3 degrees, you know, and you're going to find a lot of those problems go away. And it's interesting how it works when it's just a little bit. And it's interesting because when I say turn the anger up, I'm not talking about going out and shouting. It's more like getting in touch with this relationship of energy within your body, where you kind of gain confidence and you gain creativity and like healthier boundaries, and you actually get respected more as well. It's like an energy that holds you up and upright, you know. So a lot of the words maybe that I'm using today, people associate them with different things, but when we talk about anger, we're just talking about this green energy that moves up the body. That's really, really important. So so it might be fear or distrust of love and intimacy, or shame around sexuality. These are really, really classic things to cause blockages, but of course every person probably has like hundreds of different blockages. Some blockages will really be stifling the life force, others are not so bad. Okay, so yeah, a block in our chain of intimacy. So the chain of intimacy is actually the moment from you see someone, you smile, you like them, you start talking, you maybe ask them on a date, you start dating, at some point you start having physical intimacy, and then perhaps a long-term committed relationship as well. But a lot of people, they get these blockages along this chain that they can't, you know, maybe they won't even be able to look and smile at someone, they won't be able to have sex, or they can have sex but they can't prolong the relationship, or whatever it is, you know. These are all signs of energy blockages as well. So, and most cancers are of the sexual organs, and it's pretty obvious that it's blocked energy getting into the sexual organs as well, because we're not in a good relationship with sexual organs. So let's have a look at, like, I want to go over now like the ways that sexual healing works. Okay, so when you saw that diagram and the energy moving up, and one of the main things is sexual energy moving up into the heart, and it's a sad fact that in the vast majority of people that is blocked. And why is it blocked? I think a big part to do with the parenting techniques that were being pushed in the 70s and 80s and possibly 90s as well, when mums were told not to hug their babies very much. Sexual healing starts with the most basic level of feeding the energy of love. And this starts with self-love. So quite literally, when our bodies begin to unblock, the meridian, which is the Chong Mai, that feeds the body with sexual energy, starts to deliver the energy into our hearts. And when we work with this, we literally feel it. And we can do an exercise around this later if anybody's still awake or conscious. Sorry that I'm going on for so long. I plan to be an hour and short and precise, but clearly no. Okay. So, all right, yeah. When our bodies begin to unblock the meridian, the Chongmai that feeds the body with sexual energy, it starts to deliver the energy into our hearts. Bear in mind the 12 meridians and the 12 organs are fed from this meridian. So when we've got a sexual blockage, it's literally blocking our organs from getting energy. Like, I used to have terrible back pain when I wasn't having orgasms. I started having orgasms, it was gone like that. And lower back pain is really a sign of a sexual blockage. So we all know the huge healing effects of feeling love, sensuality, vulnerability, and connection. And that's like a starter, but obviously there's way more to it than just this. So when the sexual energy reaches our hearts, it starts to transform into a third kind of energy, which is a violet energy. And it then, so you're mixing the blue with the red, okay? And it then starts to vibrate and resonate with the violet light in the universe. And as this energy starts to grow, it then starts to spread through our bodies and into our cells. It begins to vibrate our cells and return them back into their original programming. So this is like very basic level, actually, of sexual healing. So a deeper layer to it. Now, I mentioned earlier how sexual energy amplifies what's there, which very, very often is things we're hiding and negative, right? And you probably have noticed this within yourself, how sexual energy can amplify like intense feelings. And that's why we say always do a little bit of emotional alchemy before you go into sexual alchemy. So it will amplify your traumas and your pain. It can cause chaos in your life and physical health problems because it can amplify your blocks. And this is why a lot of the people that went and started masturbating and squeezing their perineum after reading the Multi-Orgasmic Man ended up getting these health problems and problems with their backs and their spine and their prostates and so on, was because they hadn't cleared the energy out first. And so they were amplifying something that was blocking. So, and it can also be healing because it brings up your blockages and traumas to be healed, which you can do quickly and effectively if you've learned to work with energy already. And I do think, you know, we can work with stuff, but there's always like deeper layers and levels of it that are unfolding. And when we go more deeply into those deeper layers of it, it's just the effect that comes out in our life is just, it's just so much more refined and so much more profound, you know. And I think we never stop healing. I think you guys all know we never stop healing. So the deepest levels of these blockages live within our sexual organs. So that was the picture I showed you, genital reflexology. And it's incredible how people can have like erection problems and they use the genital reflexology. This isn't just looking at that diagram. The diagram is not designed to really do genital reflexology off of, but more like for information purposes, because you need to learn to work with the energy first. But it's definitely something that's interesting. So when people like learn the way to work with the energy, it can also like heal like really deep traumas as well. So once that you have the skills to work with these energies within your body, you can learn to also work with these energies as they are present in your sexual organs for the deepest clearings that you can do. And actually, it doesn't take long to learn emotional alchemy. And it's not really, you can't really say, oh, I've done psychology, so I don't need to do emotional alchemy, because you need to work on it on that level, because there's just different levels of working. And it's important, if we're working with the sexual energy on a certain level, we also work with the emotions on that same level as well. So the level of clearing works once the external is cleared. This level of clearing works once the external is cleared enough to allow the deepest traumas to release. So it's incredible, like how, like when I started doing this genital reflexology and using a jade egg with genital reflexology, and I started clearing this stuff out of my vagina, which was like coming like almost like gray clouds out of my body. And then I suddenly started getting sensation in my vagina, which I realized I basically had never had before. And then I just started having like a lot of tingling, and then I just started having orgasms, and just a lot of them, basically because I just had moved this emotional blockages out. So it's so powerful and it's so incredible to work with. Now, through Taoist practices, you can start to recycle unused hormones that can even cause illness, and use these to rejuvenate your body at the cellular level. In fact, this is going to be safe for us to just practice now as well. So this balances your hormonal system, eliminating menstrual problems and optimizing the experience of sexual pleasure. So wave goodbye to your lube as your pussy naturally flows with wetness, as your energetic flow is optimized, and say adios to concerns about performance issues as you get the hard cock of your youth back and eliminate sexual frustration and unwanted urges to be able to connect with the pleasure you deeply desire. Through moving energy, you can start to have any type of orgasm you want in any part of your body, and pleasure becomes your tool to heal and to grow. So, hey, I know I've been going on for like an hour and a half, and I'm sorry if I'm going too long. Okay. Hey, does anybody want to know? We can stop now if you want, yeah? Or does anybody want to know like an exercise now so you can start recycling your hormones? Can you give me like a let's say a 5 in the chat? Or yes, a 5 if you want to. Okay, so I know we have to be careful these days how we say male and female, right? Yeah, but you probably either have a set of testicles between your legs or some breasts, right? Or if you have both, fair enough, do what you want with them, okay? This is just a very, very gentle massage that if you have, let's start with, men can do this too, actually, if you have breasts, right? All we're gonna do is just take the breast and we're gonna start going like this with the breast. Guys, if you have nipple, well, I'm sure you have nipples, we can also do this, yeah, and it's usually like we miss the nipple and we go like this around the areolae. We can do like movements like this with the breast. This is great for the lymphatic system. Another movement is like this, missing the areolae, making circles. Okay, ladies first, guys. That's what we say in England at least. Okay, if you're breastfeeding, you know, if you're in the beginning of breastfeeding, I would say maybe not, yeah, but do it very, very gently. If you're breastfeeding, just very gently massage your breasts. These exercises, yeah, I mean, I breastfed my daughter till she was almost 3. I think gentle, it's just much more gentle. If you're breastfeeding, you want to be much more gentle with it. If you have testicles, okay, just gently put your hand down and gently take hold of your testicles and just start massaging them really gently. And as we're doing this, let's just relax. And we're feeling energy, and it's nice energy, but obviously it's not the same energy and feeling you're going to get if you're jerking off, right? It's a nice feeling, and that nice feeling is the hormones being released. And this is very, very balancing for the whole body. So I recommend, guys, just give your testicles a nice, gentle massage every day, and you'll feel it takes a lot of tension out of you. It's much, much better than doing this with your penis. And the breasts as well is very good. I mean, there's specific techniques we go into detail about. I would just say don't do this if you're pregnant. Leave your breasts alone if you're pregnant. It's not a good idea to move energy around your body if you're pregnant, because pregnancy is a state of stagnation, and you want to be stagnating. Actually, it's the only time you want to be stagnating, when you're pregnant. So how does that feel, guys? Anyone have any input? Want to ask? Want to say anything? I'm just giving you a little bit of tasters of stuff that I know is safe, you know, and I can say gently massaging your testicles is safe, gently massaging your breasts is safe. And it's amazing because when you tune in there and you actually realize this is hormones and energy being released, you know, and for example, you can massage your breasts and just smile to your thymus gland. And actually you're sending the energy into your thymus gland, or you can do the same with the testicle owners. You can just smile to your thymus gland and actually send the energy there to the thymus gland. And whoever has a prostate, I recommend to, like we did the inner smile at the beginning, just smile to your prostate every day. Ladies, smile to your cervixes. These are parts of the body that we almost think cervix cancer, prostate cancer. I mean, imagine being a prostate, and every time someone says your name, they say prostate problem, prostate cancer. It's like there's all this negative energy. You know, even we think cervix. So nice to have seen everybody here. There's coming back a recording. You know, we hear cervix, we hear negative things, and we need to be sending love and sending positive emotions into our sexual organs, which get so much crap, and they just get treated like they're awful when they're actually like really, really important sacred parts of us that are essential. So 25 people, are we ready to go on? We're almost finished, by the way, and then I'll open up for questions. We can do an exercise with sexual energy if we want, or we can do questions, or we can finish, whatever people want. Okay, we've done this page already. Okay, orgasmic healing. So in Tao practices, we move sexual energy from the sexual organs like the ovaries and testicles into the rest of the body. This is quite advanced. Don't try it at home without a teacher, okay? So sexual energy can be worked with in the form of hormones, aroused energy, or orgasmic energy. So that was just hormones that we were working with. Very safe stuff for you to start with. And it is essential to start by working with the least volatile, and you need to master each stage and then work up the scale. And once you develop these skills to move these energies, you can safely move orgasms up the center of your spine and into your brain, and then down into your internal organs. And then we always store it in the belly with the circles at the end. And this is best done by developing and honing your skills to work with your intention. And once you do this, there's very little you cannot humanly achieve. I just want to say there, right? There is a Taoist exercise where you can squeeze the perineum, okay? But the thing is, I believe, and I think that most teachers now believe, look, you want to master moving the energy with your mind before you're trying to squeeze your perineum and move it. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying, but basically, if you're using your perineum to move the energy, you want to move it 80% with your mind and just 20% with the perineum. And also, just to say about pelvic floors, a lot of pelvic floors are suffering because they're too tight, not too loose. The majority of problems with the pelvic floor is actually because some of the muscles and tendons are too tight. So, moving on, healing with a partner. And once you got here, sex will never be the same again. So it's like you go through this certain process and you upgrade yourself, you work with yourself, you upgrade yourself. This is like 3/4 of the work. And by the end of it, you're just going to be like, oh my God, yeah, did I have sex like that before? What was I doing? Yeah, you know, what you thought of as a normal is completely changed because you're experiencing something so amazing. I suppose it's like if you're living off McDonald's your whole life and somebody just gives you an organic home-cooked meal, you're just going to be like, oh my God, this is just amazing. You know, or maybe, I don't know, if you lived off McDonald's your whole life, you might not like the organic home-cooked meal, but you know what I'm saying anyway. So the rubbing of genitals to feel pleasure with friction is inevitably unsatisfying. So what people are doing is they're chasing. What we do here is we seduce and we bring the energy to us. So once you can harness energy, you will begin to make love as a conscious act of healing and activation. So there's no need to actually move. And I will just say that with my partner, the best sex we have is just when we're not moving at all and we're just channeling energy together. But obviously it takes a certain amount of work. What I'm talking over here, someone can learn it in a few months, so it's not like it's going to take years to do it. So sharing this with another person takes your energy cultivation to a new level, because in the beginning you're doing solo cultivation, but then you start cultivating with the partner, and then that's really like a much deeper level of energy cultivation. And it asks more of you, because we all know that there's a certain easiness to being single, and obviously you don't want to be with the wrong partner, but when you meet the person that, you know, is right for you, and I think because I experienced a lot of like family dysfunction as a child, I found it really hard to like get into like a healthy relationship. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying I had like men treat me badly. In fact, I would say the opposite, but it wasn't the right alignment somehow in the relationship, which I wasn't attracting because of the energy blockages within me. I mean, funnily enough, I got to the certain place in my development, and this is not about being perfect, being high vibe, being whatever people tell you have to be fully healed. Yeah, I was not. Yeah, but I'd done a certain amount of work. And I can honestly say I actually got given someone that is just so perfect for me. And if you guys haven't figured out yet, I'm a bit of a quirky, odd, weird person, you know, in my own little way. I'm a mega nerd, you know, and so meeting someone that appreciates what I'm doing, has the same values as me, and so on, you know, and that just seems to just fit personality wise with me really great, was amazing. And I didn't believe it was possible, but you know, it just goes to show that when you're healing, like a lot of things, you know, can happen, which which maybe you didn't think was possible at all. And obviously, like, working with people to like visually see them, you know, transforming is just something I absolutely love as well, and I adore. And it's a massive like perk of life to just see that happening. And even like many, like I said, many people I also help that are not my clients, that don't pay me, and sometimes just with like some really short advice, or sometimes people come to these classes and they say it really changed their lives as well, or even just, you know, see the social media. So it means a lot for me, like, to see people learning from this, transforming and changing. You know, I'm sure you can understand, it's like satisfaction of seeing what you're doing, that it actually has like a purpose. So yeah, when your bodies become alchemical chambers, and you can use this in lovemaking to heal, to manifest, create, and grow together. And this is alchemy instead of chemistry. So it's like people all get together on with chemistry, right? Everyone thinks it's all about the chemistry, right? More and more, I learned that a big part of that is trauma bonding. And when I met my partner, we spent time, we got to know each other. We didn't just have sex straight away, you know. And I was talking to him, and I was like, when I was younger, I just thought, oh, you met someone, you feel attracted, you have sex, and hey, it's all going to work out, right? But in reality, that's not quite the situation. And I think that going into a situation consciously, I mean, I've heard there's some tantric texts which say you should actually sleep in bed for 6 months together and before you even have sex. I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not saying that this is what everyone has to do, but when you start to be able to get on this level to experience alchemy, and the beautiful thing, and I definitely noticed with my relationship, is it's just everything just gets better and better and better. And it's not like everyone is just used to thinking, oh, the woman's going to get bored of sex, which is rubbish. Women are way more sexual than guys. Yeah, we have way more, you know, desire for sex than guys do, but it's just we don't know the way to use it, and so we block the energy. Because, you know, sometimes as well, if you're having sex with a person and they might be a lovely person, but they can be transmitting bad energy into you, and as women we absorb, so this can cause like problems as well, you know. Oh, this means this is the end. I just wanted to go, does anybody want to know, like, me to describe a couple of like Taoist sexual techniques? Or if you anybody still awake here 5 hours later, describe them. Yeah, you know, so and this is even things that I think if you have a partnership, you can start to try and use. Obviously they're a lot more effective when you know how to channel energy. Okay, I'm gonna just go, let's say this, let's stop this. Let's say like this is the vagina and this is the penis, you know. And I mean, one thing I just find amazing is just the rubbing up and down, you know, on the outside. But basically the idea is that you want to get the vagina to actually suck in the penis. You want to stop pushing into the vagina. I actually have not had someone push inside my vagina for years. Now when I even think about it, I'm like, oh, it's like almost an assault. It's like if you go to your friend's door, you don't just open the door and shove past the door. You welcome, and then the person lets you in, and it's the same. And there is this sucking reflex, and the up and down can help to activate it. But also just leaving the head of the penis by the vagina and just allowing like the magic to happen, instead of trying to, you know, copy whatever we saw on Netflix or porn or whatever, you know. But a very classic Tao technique would be just head of the penis in and out, and just actually doing that for a little bit. So we say we do 9 shallow and 1 deep. There's all this weird thing with numbers and counting in Taoism, but it seems to work and have like quite an amazing effect actually for some reason. So yeah, this is just some things I think we can try. And yeah, that's basically the presentation. Okay. So have we got questions, or would we like to do, if we'd like to do like a practice with sexual energy, give me a 6 in the chat. Okay, so just to let you know, we are working with sexual energy on the spiritual level right now. We're not working with it as a physical thing. I wouldn't teach you right now to work with it as a physical thing, because you want to basically have the ability to be able to work with the energy safely, right? This is Siska, by the way. The other one is Nuna, and they're sisters. But Siska is twice the size of Nuna. It's interesting. Anyways, so she was sitting where I wanted to lean back. Okay, so we got a sixes, lots of sixes. Okay. If you want to just watch and not participate, you're welcome to do that. If you'd like to leave and you don't want to do this, that's fine as well. Let's just, we're going to be invoking some divine beings and some deities, some love gods, sex, Taoist deities. And we're going to be working with the orgasmic energy in its spiritual form, and love energy as well. Okay, and it's kind of based around what we've done already too, and a bit of visualization. So just enjoy it, have some fun with it. This is an exercise Master Chia teaches, by the way. So anyways, let's just have a little wiggle just to start. Move your shoulders, your hips, just allow the energy to wake up. And then relax, take a nice deep breath in, feeling your belly rising. One thing that's funny about puppies is if you sing them lullabies, they fall asleep. It works with chickens as well. It's quite amazing. Anyways, so we're gonna now just go back into the belly breathing, with the belly moving in and out. So breathing out any tension, and we're just breathing in pure divine love. Unconditional, non-judgmental love and complete acceptance for who you are, what you feel, what you've been through, what you've done, and everything. And just keep this breathing and this process going with your breath. And you can come back to your eyes, to your shut eyelids. And you can go back and start to look into your brain, down into your mouth, down your throat, and down into your chest, and connecting again to your heart, smiling and sending unconditional, non-judgmental love into your heart, connecting with the element of fire, the red color, and pure, unconditional self-love. So as we're smiling here into our hearts, we're just going to feel that red, loving energy just completely filling our hearts like a fire. And we can feel that it's burning away anything that does not belong there inside of your heart. You can feel that the red energy is growing in your chest, spreading out through your chest. So you can kind of feel like it's radiating out of your heart like a fire. It's burning away any pain, any sadness, hatred, burning away anything that does not belong there. And then use your intention to condense this energy in your heart into a red ball that's approximately the size of a tennis ball. And we're leaving this red tennis ball of energy floating in our hearts. And then we're moving our attention down to what we call the sexual center, which is at the bottom of your abdomen, above your pubic bone and pubic hair. And it's more or less the sacral chakra. It's where the womb is on the woman. And we're going to smile into the sexual center and connect with the blue color and the element of water, which emanates from the kidneys, and feel the peaceful feeling. And as we're smiling here into the sexual center, you can visualize that this blue energy is like a still, calm blue lake on a sunny summer's day. And that it is you can feel that although this is very peaceful, it's also very powerful energy. It's the energy that created you. It's the energy that manifests your DNA. And thereby it connects you to all your ancestors. Everyone that was and everyone that is to be, to in fact all of humanity. And as we're smiling here into the sexual center, you can visualize that you're walking into a cave. And as you walk into the cave, you notice it is full of old people. And that the old people are sitting around a fire, telling stories. And these are your ancestors, imparting wisdom and knowledge to you. And coming back to your blue lake, condense this blue energy into the sexual center, into a blue tennis ball. And now we are going to use our intention and imagine and visualize that we are moving this ball, and we're going to move it down to the pubic bone, down past the sexual organs. So just imagining this for now. Imagine that the ball is moving past your anus, up past your coccyx and sacrum, bringing it up your spine, past your lumbar vertebra, past your thoracic vertebra, up through your neck, up into your head. And then we're going to release the blue ball out of the top of the head and allow it to float about a foot above your head. And now let's go back to the red ball in the heart, and let's take that ball, and we can imagine we're moving it up the sternum, up into the neck and face, up to the top of the head. And we're going to release it out of the top of the head and move it up and bring it up into meet the blue ball and allow the two balls to merge together and start to spiral into the shape of a yin-yang symbol. So water and fire spiraling there together above your head. And as you're looking into this ball of energy, you will visualize a garden. And it's such a beautiful garden. It's full of trees and vines and yellow and purple flowers, snakes and rodents. And you can see a pathway ahead of you, and that walking down the pathway towards you are two beings. And they are so perfect, you can see that they are a god and a goddess. And that you notice, looking at their bodies, everything about them is perfect. And they are so beautiful, and they are just so stunning. And you can see as they walk together that they're looking into each other's eyes and smiling to each other. And you feel the most perfect love and divine perfect love between them. And as you sense the love, you can see the red energy is rising out of their hearts. And then you see them starting to touch each other and starting to kiss. And as they start to become aroused, you can feel that the blue energy, the blue sexual energy, is rising like a mist around them, combining with the red energy of love and creating a purple mist around them. And as they then start to make love, you can notice that their sexual fluids start to drip down onto your head. And you feel this purple goo of the sexual wet fluids dripping down onto your head and permeating into your brain. So feeling inside your head and brain becoming this purple color, which is the color of the violet light of the universe. Now bringing your attention into your brain, you can notice another garden, a forest full of trees and flowers, bluebells, birch trees, deer, rabbits, nightingales. And you can see another path, and walking towards you down this path is another set of divine beings who are smiling to each other, looking with perfect love and connection into each other's eyes. And you can see they're so divine and so perfect. The way they smile with each other is so perfect. The love they feel is so perfect. And you feel that red energy of love is just surrounding them, spiraling around them. And you see them starting then to kiss, to touch each other, becoming aroused. And the blue energy is now spreading around them, combining with the red and creating a deep purple haze within your brain. And as the sexual fluids start to overflow, as they start to make love, you can literally feel the sexual fluids dripping down your throat, down into your chest and into your heart. So coming back and smiling into your heart, feeling your whole chest area full of this purple energy, which is vibrating in time with the violet light of the universe. And you're seeing another garden full of trees with fruits and snakes and parrots and monkeys. An absolutely beautiful Eden garden. And as you're looking around this garden, you can see another pathway, and that there's another couple walking towards you. And you recognize them immediately as a god and a goddess by their perfection, their symmetry, their beauty. And you can see the perfect way in which they're gazing into each other's eyes. You can see the absolute unconditional total love they share together as they smile to each other. And you see the red energy coming out of their bodies and spiraling around them. And then you see them kissing, starting to touch. And you see the blue energy is coming out of their bodies and alchemizing with the red, creating a purple color which is filling your whole chest. And you are feeling that this purple energy is spreading through your whole being. And as they start to make love, the sexual fluids as a purple goo starts to drip down your stomach, down into your abdomen, down into your pelvis, your legs, your feet. And you can gently move your body and just really allow this purple energy to spread through your whole body and to start to regenerate your cells. So allow this purple energy to spread into your cells, to vibrate your cells, and to vibrate them at the same frequency as the violet light in the universe. And you can ask the violet light in the universe to return your cells back into their original programming. And if you notice any tension, any pain within your body, just smile there. And allow the energy to spread and to release the blockages. And then placing your hands over your lower belly, just below your belly button. Start to rub your belly. And we're just going to use this rubbing to put that energy into the belly. Oh, I meant to be using that camera. Okay. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, and it's always good to move a little bit before and after we do the meditation. In fact, in Taoism, we combine the movement with the sitting meditations as well. So 2 hours later, I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody on Facebook. Bye guys. Okay. So any questions from anybody? Anything you want to say?
Say just briefly, and thank you. Yeah, it was great evening. Thank you. Good refresher. I'm actually making a big start with, remaking it, everything for me to see, because rather than having on the phone, or even seeing in front of myself, big plan. So yeah, it's really useful. Going through it a few times is really sticking in. Takes time. I'm a slow learner, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I really recommend actually for people to draw those diagrams. I told you that you should or could screenshot those diagrams, but I definitely recommend for people to draw them as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just by drawing them and using the color so that can actually have it visually really there rather than going to my phone. So yeah, it helps. Actually, yeah, and yes, it's springtime, so now the liver is really activated and
Yeah,
there's little change of energy. So I really feel that. So yeah, it's good to be reminded of the exercise, in the smile and the transmutation of emotions and everything. So yeah, great. Thank you very much.
this is the time of the year to work with the liver, and it's very normal to feel anger, and it's a great time to transmute anger as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, thank you. I just want to say this and I'm off now, but yeah, thanks a lot again. Yeah, bye everyone.
My pleasure. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first, thank you. That was a great exercise and meditation. I loved it. Um, I like the idea of like making this a practice. Would you say like even that first activity, something to do in your morning routine, like after you meditate, after you exercise, like make it a part of your daily part of living?
I would definitely recommend to everybody to start smiling to your organs every day, and you're gonna really like notice stuff, like really amazing, amazing stuff. There's people that have literally been smokers and they've started smiling to their organs and they just stopped smoking actually, like I said, there was a lady that actually bless her, she was an American and she was diagnosed with liver cancer and she was told she had like 6 months to live. She was offered treatment, which is going to give like a couple more months. But basically she decided not to have the treatment. She just thought, okay, I'm going to just travel for the rest of my life and then pass away wherever I am. And before she went off traveling, she went to, I think it was like LA or San Francisco, and she went and attended a Mantak Chia conference. This was like some decades ago, like 2 or 3 decades ago. And she learned this exercise, the inner smile. And she started doing the inner smile and she went off traveling. And then about 2 years later, she's like, I'm still alive. Interesting. I better go back to and see my doctor in America, and then find out what's going on. So she goes back and she gets to the doctor in America and she goes to the doctor's surgeon. She goes, hey, is Dr. So-and-so here? And the receptionist's like, who are you? And she goes, oh, I'm his patient. And the receptionist's like, he's dead, yeah? And she's like, oh, okay, all right, guys, see you later. And then she showed up 20 years later at Master Chia's retreat in Thailand and was like, Master Chia, do you recognize me? And he was like, no, you got to remind me. Obviously, he talks to thousands and thousands of people, and she told him the story and he was like, wow, interesting. You just started smiling to the organs. I mean, obviously, we know that someone can have cancer and move or change their lifestyle and it can go away as well. But, there's some other practices we do called the 6 healing sounds. And there was a woman that went a few years ago to Dow Gardens and she was a cardiologist and her husband had an incurable heart problem. And basically, it was inoperable or whatever. And they got him to start doing these exercises, and even that heart problem went away as well. And I've seen like I had my own experience with I think chronic back pain, which is basically like, especially when it's the lower back, it's the sexual energy blocked, and other problems I was having that really, really felt chronic and were really like strangling the life out of me, and yeah, like I've seen with my clients, like a lot of stuff like just on the physical level resolving, but then there's obviously is like there's so many different levels, like even for example, and I think that this exercise is going to help you, that basically like quite a few of my clients have said, there was a lady, we just finished the coaching in December and she was like, oh, it's interesting, I just looked through my accounts of the year, and there's definitely been like an increase in my earnings, like since we've been working together. And also she was doing like voiceover on advertisements, and she'd always wanted to be an actress, and she actually got a job as an actress then starting in January. So yeah, like there's quite a few different examples of this kind of shift and change going on in people's lives when they actually start to work with energy. So yeah, and like I said, that other people had their partnerships fixed, you know, or maybe if the partnership's not supposed to be, it will probably just dissipate away in just a nice gentle way rather than ending up catastrophically. Oh, it's telling me my Mac is going to go to sleep. 1 second. Whoop. Hello. Okay. Sorry. So I just had to plug in the charger there. Yeah. So yeah, and there was one guy, in fact, it was the guy I showed the testimonial for there. He said what was so amazing is that his wife was this like hairdresser to celebrities, right? And when he started doing the work, her business started taking off. She started getting loads of new clients. She got on like the ideal clients, I suppose you would say. She got on like the front page of some magazine in the UK as well. And I think like last year, two of my clients got on, like one of them got on a front page in America, and another one got into, I don't think it was the front page, but got into 3 different UK publications just in the last month actually as well for his business as well. This was always people getting in about their business, not because they robbed a bank or something like that. So, which would definitely not be a great result. So yeah, but yeah, like really the benefits, like I cannot even over exaggerate the benefits, you know. And if you want to know more, go and watch my testimonials for sure. Like I have a page on my website that's all dedicated to testimonials, but it just really it just really brings about like shifts, and it's just so interesting to watch you know, to watch people, you know, changing. And even like I said, like even people that have like come to these events and taken and implemented things that they've learned here, like, you know, that it's had big changes in their lives as well. So that's what this is all about, you know. And the cool thing is that we're becoming like, we're doing self-development, but it's all through like orgasms. So it's just really fun, and it's really, you know, it's really juicy, as opposed to like, you know, so much of like what people think of as spirituality or self-development is just really dire and really boring and like really egotistical and just inauthentic, you know. It's all about it being yeah, just being real. So hopefully some of you guys are also in my Telegram group, right, as well, and doing the exercises in there. Is anyone not in that group? I don't know the link for it, but hopefully you're all in that group. So yeah.
That's amazing. So one shift in your life can shift other areas in your life because it's all interconnected. So you were saying someone seeing an increase in her finances or increase in the relationship, or that relationship dissolving, maybe making room for something better to come in, but it didn't end in a chaotic way.
Yeah, so the idea with this is that we are creating like balance, and when we create balance, obviously if the relationship wasn't meant to be and it's not for a higher purpose, it's going to go away. But instead of, hopefully, unless we really need the you know, massive violent breakup or something for our personal development, you know, no, it would probably, I mean, there's one of my testimonials, the lady was saying, she says the things that just were in her life that didn't belong there, they just kind of faded away, you know. And then the things that were right for her, she just felt them coming. She felt like a big increase in abundance. This is like, yeah, a different lady I'm talking about actually. But usually I found, and I'm a big fan of relationships, you know, especially if people have been together for a long time, unless it's super toxic. But even the toxicity can be fixed because it's just trauma, basically, you know. And especially if there's kids involved, you hopefully want that the relationship works and that you manage to stay together. And it just seemed to find like, you know, yeah, that balances out. And I think when I'm going to talk about money and people's earnings increase. I think it's all about it being soul aligned, you know, like the woman that she wanted to be an actress and then she got the job as acting in the theater, you know, or whatever, the, you know, that it's actually coming into soul alignment rather than I'm making loads of money but I hate my job and I'm destroying the environment, you know. But obviously, you know, abundance is another spiritual energy that people ignore. But basically, if we actually get into a relationship with abundance as well, we can also like understand this is actually a really, really spiritual thing. And it was an energy I learned to work with, and I think that people can really benefit from this. That it's when we often have trauma as children or as past lives, or in our ancestors have trauma around money. You know, if we think like, especially our ancestors lived in very insecure times, we probably had ancestors who starved to death, who died because of money. You know, I mean, even my grandmother in living memory, she lived in London during the Blitz, which was when the Nazis were bombing London, and she remembers the bombs dropping down. She remembers running with, I guess it's one of my aunts as a tiny little baby, praying not to get hit by the bombs. They then moved out of London and they moved into this area called the Cotswolds. And what they told me is they went to live in a house that was built for chickens. I mean, I don't know what the house looked like exactly, but they moved into some kind of a chicken house with their kids, you know, out in the Cotswolds. And I guess in those days you didn't exactly have contraception, so my grandmother had like 9 kids, you know. And they grew up like with like a lot of poverty basically as well, you know, and these different traumas and experiences people have had as well that we can still be experiencing. And when we, you know, put themselves into the position, and if you look at like entrepreneurs, and most of them, they're conscious people, you know, and many of them, they have a difficult time and they struggle, and they're creating a business and they're creating their own job and their own life, you know, and creating the world like into a better place generally as well, you know, because a lot of small businesses is kind of the antidote to big business, if people want to, you know, look at things in that way or whatever. But this is like a healing. I mean, I know there's a lot of this in the States as well, a lot of conscious entrepreneurs, right, Angelina, where people are actually healing the generational trauma, you know, as well, to actually use that, you know, to heal. And there's actually many people becoming entrepreneurs that they come from a poor background or a working class background, and their family history is in poverty. There's like people that even their ancestors were enslaved, they're becoming entrepreneurs. Some of them are doing really, really well now, and it's like a way that it turns the tide on those traumas and actually heals the whole like generations and so on, and family, when people actually work with this abundance energy. So it's a very important energy that when we also start treating it in a sacred way, because people say, oh, money is the root of all evil, you know, people associate gold with evil, but it's not actually that. It's good, it's evil, you know, because also gold is associated with the divine as well. It's all about our relationship to it. And you can see, if you look back in history, as people's relationship with their sexuality went downhill, the relationship with abundance and the poverty versus the, you know, the poverty started to just increase as people were getting less and less in a good relationship with the bodies, the sexuality, the emotions, and the money is all part of that. And those things are all in our sacral chakras anyway, so it's kind of obvious that they are connected.
Thank you.
Makes sense?
Yes. Yes, it's abundance. That being comfortable with your sexuality is all great things that we all should experience in life.
Yeah, and I think, you know, people talk about mindset, and I think mindset is so important, but honestly, mindset is only going to bring you like 30% of the way. You know, it's a really key part, but there's so many people with so much mindset, and they're just destroying themselves. I wrote a post on Facebook. I don't know if many people saw it because I've been like super shadow banned, and my posts have all been getting lowered in people's feeds and everything. Yeah, but basically, I remember being at Master Chia's place, and he's talking about all these Chinese billionaire women that he's teaching this stuff to, and I'm like, wow, so all these Chinese women are becoming billionaires. I wonder what their businesses are, you know. And it was actually no, yeah, the husband became the billionaire, and he burnt himself out, and he died, and they inherited the money and the knowledge that if they don't take care of themselves, they're going to die too, and then they won't be able to enjoy the money. So they basically start learning this to keep themselves healthy and, you know, be able to enjoy life more and enjoy health more and everything. So yeah, it's really, really important how we self-care. So yeah.
So is that the 70%? You said 30% mindset. So you're saying 70% self-care? How does that?
I think energy flow is
Energy flow.
you know, energy flow is really important. Self-care is really, really important. You know, education is really important. So yeah, I'm seeing someone is in here in Asia at 4 a.m. or something like that. We have some Americans, right?
Me.
Any other countries? Hungary. Yeah. Cool. So guys, any last wishes to see some cute puppies maybe?
Yes. Oh.
This is Siska. So she's going to be like a Jack Russell, basically. Look at her little spot on her back.
Beautiful.
Actually symmetrical, right in, oh yeah, there you can see it. It's symmetrical right in the middle. She's normally running around being crazy, but she's all sleepy and cute. She was on Facebook, on my Facebook today. Here's little Nuna. You can see Nuna is like half the size. And she's so black, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see. Nuna, show your pretty face. Yeah, she's so adorable, this one. Oh my God. And she comes in bed with me under the blanket and sleeps next to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm worried I'm going to like roll over onto her and crush her. So she's got her own little bed, but she just loves being like by my legs under the duvet. But it's in this one, she is like, she does much more like lying and chilling. And she jumps like crazy because Jack Russells are known for jumping. So she really jumps a lot, yeah. And she has these bursts of energy, but she spends a lot more time. I think she's like the runt, this one, a lot more time chilling. Whereas this other one is like, she's just non-stop, go, go, go. She was always the biggest one, really, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Little Siska. So, yeah, and Mummy's over there chilling out as well. But, yeah, I'm a big fan of dogs. So, any more questions, guys? I want to let you guys all get off to bed.
Is day 2 tomorrow?
No, this is just the only day.
Is day 1? Okay.
I'll do another one in a couple of weeks, so watch out for it. And I think like when you see my post, like my post and do a comment on the post, and then they're going to get shown more in your feed. Or check, like, you can sort of see, are you following? Is the person going to be the first ones you see? Because my posts have really, in fact, I'm surprised so many people showed up today, because I noticed that my posts had been like, for some reason I've been banned from commenting, and I don't even know why. I don't even know what I did. I noticed my Instagram is really like, I'm not getting very many likes and views as well. So I know that they had shadow banned me there, but it was like I was a little bit shadow banned, and now they seem to have put me on a mega shadow ban. So I'm gonna have to, I think that I'm gonna have to remove some of my posts and just start being more careful with my content, which is a shame, because I don't like to put S*X or $X or whatever people do, because I think you're then still putting shame around sexuality. You should just be able to say sex without doing some weird spelling of it. Do you know what I mean? But
right.
I don't even know that doing that weird spelling, I think the algorithm knows anyways. Yeah, you know, it's just really annoying, because you know, you can look on Instagram and there's all these, you know, people with these bodies that are so artificial and so sexualized, and it's so like, you know, putting pressure on people. Like, you know, if you speak to women nowadays, it's almost like minority that just feel comfortable with their bodies, because there's just all these like, what was a beautiful, attractive woman in whatever a few decades ago is literally like overweight, and it's just so crazy what you're seeing there. It's just
It is.
about this stuff.
Yeah, I go to the gym every day, and there's women that have great bodies, and they still say, I want Botox and I want the other thing. And I'm like, you don't even need that stuff. Like, why are you even bringing this up? Like, you go to the gym every day.
It gets marketed to them. I mean, this Brazilian influencer, she had liposuction on her knee. She's 27 and she had liposuction on her knee. I cannot understand why a person.
Yes, that's what she said. This one girl particular.
I'm looking at my knees and I'm like, I'm not even working out as much as she does. And what on earth can you take off of your knee? I don't understand it. Do you know what I mean? And she died of the operation. And there's actually quite a few influencers that are dying of like cancer and different diseases. And it's not actually healthy what they're even promoting, And the same thing with like, like it's very easy to kind of go on social media and get the idea that just a natural looking woman with like natural lips and natural whatever is like that there's something wrong with it, because obviously like people use filters, but then people get a lot of like injections to change the shape of their face and their lips, and I suppose when you feel like you have to do it to get attention and or whatever, I just think it's a shame that people feel they have to do this, or there's a standard of beauty where people are having to, it's great to like get fit or whatever, but when it's like, a standard of beauty where you're literally risking your life having like operations, and now they're saying these facial fillers can cause like cancer, which doesn't seem surprising because you just inject this stuff in your face and it's not even regulated. You do just think it doesn't seem like a very wise idea, basically. But yeah, I mean, Taoists are all about being attractive and being beautiful and being pretty, and the guys want to be sexy, and because you're tapping into the energy of youthfulness, and then you exude this energy, and it's not even about okay, are you going to look good on your Instagram or whatever, but it's like in real life you're exuding something that's very magnetic in a beautiful way to people. So yeah.
It is beautiful that being in touch with that energy. It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I can say I did see, I came on this very spontaneous. I seen Jade, you in my notification said Jade Poor Lotus mentioned you and others in the Art of the Bedchamber, your Facebook group. So that's what made me go and look. So I actually found out about this about a half an hour before this started, which I'm glad I was able to attend.
Angelina, I actually thought, I wonder if Angelina knows about this. I wish I'd told you. And then I saw you here and I was like, oh, cool, you showed up. Yeah. So maybe you got my psychic message at the same time. So I'm going to hit the record.